begin our look at your weekend sports on the baseball diamond in Gotham, where the Bronx Bombers and the Boston Red Sox are once again renewing their rivalry. Thursday night was an epic start to the four-game weekend series. Former ACC Sabathia has really found his ace stuff against the Bo Sox. He not only dominated on the hill, but he also tossed a few expletives in a post-game rant after former pinstriper Eduardo Nunez bunted against the southpaw, who has been dealing with some knee issues. If Thursday's 6-2 win over Boston was Sabathia's final start as a Yankee against the Red Sox, then he went out in style. The Yankees are in must-win situations to have a real chance of catching the Sox in the American League East. The victory moves them 4.5 games back in the division, with each team having less than 30 games remaining and only 3 more against each other. Sabathia is 11-5 with a 3.71 ERA this season, but he has done a large part of his damage against Boston. He's 4-0 with a 1.04 ERA against the Yankees' heated rival. Well, if the Bombers don't win the division, they could possibly look back at Wednesday's doubleheader defeat to Cleveland as the reason why. We go inside the locker room for more.
Today, I mean, we tried to show up and play a good game the first game, quickly regroup and play a good game the second game. Now we'll go into Detroit and try to do the same thing. We don't get that far yet. It doesn't help. Like you said, it can appear daunting. We don't need to do that.
Anytime we've had doubleheaders, we haven't, we haven't looked fatigued at all. And I think that's just, the way this clubhouse is. We don't worry about all the distractions or doubleheaders or how many games we play in a row. We're just trying to win.
I felt pretty good. I feel like for the most part, I was able to execute pitches and keep the ball in the bottom of the strike zone. I got a lot of ground balls, which is what I try to do most of the time, but it wasn't good enough.
This is a team. This is a great team. Everybody contribute. 9-hitter, 8-hitter, 7-4, whatever it's out there is gonna try to do the best to win games. So that's how we've been doing. And with the pitching that we have, it's no surprise that we have a great start.
I've always loved just the thought of pitching at Yankee Stadium. So finally being able to get out there and just see that atmosphere and everything was awesome and dream come true.
These guys have done a good job, and they have a well-deserved day off, and we're going to need it, because then we got a lot more baseball coming up. So let them, enjoy it tonight, and then we'll see what we can do on Friday.
Bombers lose 2-1 in the opener Wednesday and then get slammed in the nightcap. Aside from Greg Bird getting his act together at the plate, Bird and Gary Sanchez, along with CC, lifted the Yankees on Thursday, which of course has helped with Aaron Judge's offensive struggles. It did come out this week that Judge is dealing with a shoulder problem and could get a cortisone shot. That could explain why he hasn't been much of a hitter in the second half of the season. Manager Joe Girardi moved him to 6th in the order on Thursday. The Pinstripers need to be careful. I think Cleveland is the team to beat in the American League, and one of the teams the Yankees have had troubles with. Houston added starting pitcher Justin Verlander in the midnight hour Thursday night for their playoff push. The Angels also acquired a couple of veterans, including slugger Justin Upton at the deadline. They are chasing the Yanks in the wild card. The Mets fell to Cincinnati 7-2 on Thursday. Their weekend series with the Astros would have opened up tonight in Houston, but the city is still reeling from Hurricane Harvey. The two will play Saturday. The Mets plan to help with the relief efforts. Former Heisman winner Tim Tebow says he plans on playing in the Mets minor league system again in 2018, but his future call-up remains uncertain. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. A bum hip for point guard Isaiah Thomas turned into another pick for Cleveland. The Cavs reportedly received a second-rounder to complete the trade for Kyrie Irving. The more and more I look at it, the Cavs got some deal for Kyrie. Trilogy emerged as the class of the Big Three League Championship on an undefeated season to win the inaugural Big Three Championship last weekend in Las Vegas. And a back-and-forth, closely contested matchup featuring the league's two top teams. Trilogy overcame a first-half deficit to defeat three-headed monsters 51-46. Big Three star and league #1 overall draft pick Rashard McCants earned the first ever Big Three Championship MVP with a game-high 22 points, including the final 5 points to clinch the title. I could see him back in the NBA this season. Well, I could also see Conor McGregor back in the UFC despite a pretty good performance against Floyd Mayweather last Saturday night. We got a chance to watch the fight right here in the Bronx. Check this out.
We're standing by with Seth here at the Kilt. What an amazing night for the sport of MMA and boxing. You guys are carrying the McGregor and Mayweather fight. What has this entire experience been like for you?
It's been absolutely awesome. The hype for this fight is overwhelming. We got a packed house. Everyone's here to have a good time and see a one-of-a-kind event. So we're looking forward to showing everyone a good time, and hopefully it'll be a good fight.
Hey, ladies, who do you got in tonight's big fight?
McGregor. Did you see his suit? Did you zoom in on the suit and what it said? I won't repeat it because we're on TV, but he has to win this.
If Mayweather can go and hit him a nice one after the 8th round, I see McGregor getting knocked out.
So Mayweather in a knockout in 8 rounds or less.
Yep.
You could see it, he was so tired. I was for Conor, but hats off to Mayweather, I'm not a sore loser.
He had no chance. He was done by the 5th round. I said, what?
Come on now.
I mean, for you, is it special to have an event like this because you're bringing together a lot of people here in the Bronx that really love sports?
Absolutely. You know, this is our first big fight night after the renovation and enhancing the overall aesthetic of the place and trying to bring a new, younger vibe to what was an iconic institution of burgers and wings here in the Bronx. So we're excited to have this be our first fight night. It's a great way to start.
Special thanks to our friends at the Kilt at 231st. As for the night, Mayweather certainly looked more vulnerable at 40 years old as McGregor actually connected on Floyd more times than Manny Pacquiao did. But in the end, I was wrong. Mayweather still had enough to outlast the novice in 10 rounds. Thankfully, all I lost was a quarter bet and a sandwich to my camera guy, Chris Pusateri. Good call on Mayweather, my diminutive friend. Japan took the Little League World Series in dominating fashion, defeating Texas 12-2. Sadly, the Twitter universe was filled with racist tweets afterward. This is the 4th time in the last 6 years a team from Tokyo captured the Little League World Series. In MotoGP, 9-time world champion Valentino Rossi has had a successful operation after suffering a double leg fracture in a training accident in Italy. The Italian suffered displaced fractures of the tibia and fibula of his right leg in Thursday's crash. Rossi, 38, is 4th in the MotoGP standings, with the next race coming up on September 10th. In Formula One, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton are duking it out atop the F1 standings. Hamilton trails the Ferrari leader by 7 points, but has come on strong of late, winning 5 races on the season. Rumors are swirling that F1 great Fernando Alonso, who participated in the Indy 500 in May, could make the switch from Formula One to IndyCar for next season. As for IndyCar points leader Joseph Newgarden, made a swift pass late at Gateway for the victory last weekend. Those Firestone tires came in handy. Here's more on that racing technology. We caught up with Firestone in Pocono. Our BronxNet cameras got an insider look into the tires that make running the tricky triangle possible. Like their catchphrase, whatever you drive, drive a Firestone. The tire manufacturer has become synonymous with IndyCar. It was the winning tire of the very first Indy 500 back in 1911, and the marriage continues today as the official performance tire of American open wheel racing. Firestone Chief Engineer Kara Adams gave us the 411 on the unique challenges of the 2.5-mile Pocono Raceway and detailed how the same technology that goes into making race tires helps craft those race fans can drive on their own cars.
There's a lot of technology that transfers from race tires over to passenger, and believe it or not, from passenger tires over to racing. There's a lot of unique demands on race tires. These tires are going up to 238 miles per hour on the track, but some of that technology transfers over in some of the polymers we use, some of the testing, and some of the fundamental building blocks of the tire.
Fans were able to visit the Firestone Fan Experience at Pocono. Lisa Boggs, director of Bridgestone America's Motorsports, shed some light on the ABC Supply 500 and the more than 60 different race tire specifications for the 2017 season.
Each team will decide what they want to do. When you've got 500 miles, that's a lot of racing. So where you've qualified is almost not important. It's how you play that out. You're going to have a lot of pit stops. So you've really got to decide how you want to play that. If you find yourself in the lead or in the back, you might do alternate strategies. But the main thing is going to be to really execute those pit stops and to try to keep as much as you can in terms of track position. That'll be key for all the teams.
Very cool stuff. Our BronxNet cameras will be in Watkins Glen this weekend. 2 race weekends remain in IndyCar. The Giants and Jets wrapped up their preseason efforts last night. The Jets defeated Philadelphia 16-10 to complete the preseason at 2-2. Their defense looked okay, but the offense still has plenty of question marks. As for the Giants, they're still trying to figure out their final cuts, playing a lot of these second and third stringers on Thursday night in New England. The Giants reserves managed to pull off a 40-38 win against the defending Super Bowl champs. Backup QB Geno Smith may have earned himself a spot on Big Blue. The Giants and Jets played one of the best preseason games of the preseason last Saturday night. We go back inside the locker room for more.
The New York Giants got the better of the New York Jets Saturday night at MetLife Stadium in their annual Snoopy Bowl affair. But after a dominating first half for the G-men, Gang Green made them sweat it out. Preseason matchup aside, the Giants scored on a safety and 2 interception returns early, turning the bragging rights of the Big Apple into a laugher before a late thriller by the Jets. The Giants held on 32-31 after opening a 29-3 lead. After failing to score a TD in their first 2 preseason games, Big Blue's defense and offense shined in the first half. But the Jets had their chance to win after Christian Hackenberg took over for the injured Bryce Petty with 2 minutes to play and finished off a 75-yard touchdown drive with 1 minute and 26 seconds left. But the Giants stopped a 2-point run to seal it.
The Giants also finished the preseason at 2-2. Those are the headlines. We go to the C list. The Yankees missed out on Verlander. If you get a chance, YouTube Shohei Ohtani, the 23-year-old two-way Japanese phenom who is widely considered the best player in the world who isn't in the majors. He's on the Yankees' radar. General manager Brian Cashman went to Japan to see him pitch. Cashman was on hand Thursday night to watch the right-hander who has been troubled by ankle problems. Ohtani makes his second start of the season. According to one of several scouts in attendance, he suffered from a serious lack of command and was dealing with a right ankle/foot problem that has limited his pitching. In 3 1/3 innings, he allowed 4 runs, 3 hits, and walked 3, but don't be fooled. He looks like the real deal. If you recall, the Yankees have been stockpiling some international pool money in trades. The kid's fastball hits 100 miles per hour, consistently was clocked at 95 to 98 miles per hour with the slider at 82 to 85 and the splitter at 88 to 89. He's the real deal. I expect the Yanks or LA Dodgers to land the promising phenom. Then the question becomes whether or not a major league team lets him hit. In 45 games this year at the plate, Ohtani is batting .342 with 5 homers, 22 RBIs, and a .950 OPS. It would be easier for him to do both in the National League, but boy, oh boy, wouldn't it be cool to see him do some double work in pinstripes. The Yanks are in the mix for the playoffs and possibly even the World Series this year. But Yankee fans, don't worry, more additions are coming in free agency and via the minor leagues next season. Stay tuned. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.